There's something about finding metal that is way better than going to Lowe's. So one of the most important things that I like to do is to have a some type of history behind what I'm actually making, where I got it, and some connection. So finding flat metal is extremely hard. I mean, metal.
Metal?
Metal.
What kind of metal?
Flat metal. Yeah?
Right up there.
Those bushes.
Just look right at the top.
Yeah.
By the parking lot side, I you not, you will find a big ass fucking sheet of galvanized steel.
So right up there, by those bushes.
And there's a fucking shit ton of old cable too.
Okay. Holy shit, I asked the right person.
Dude, go up to the truck and just look into the bushes.
Okay.
You're good.
Sounds good. Up to the truck. So I gotta drive over there somehow. So apparently Ben told me that there's a huge sheet of galvanized metal up in those bushes over there. So my crazy trip down the street is actually paying off. So I'm gonna go across the street and we're gonna go take a look if we can find this galvanized metal. I guess I'll cross right here. So how does he know that the metal is here? It's a trash can. And there's a dumpster. That's just too big. Oh, there it is. Oh man, that thing is stuck down in there. I am just god awful, terrible, afraid of snakes, so I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon. So that's a no on that one. And I don't need the cable. So back on my quest, I think I'm going to go to the Goodwill. Now this pan right here is $9. That's too expensive. Now this is a good one. This pan is $2.50. That's pretty good. Now that I got my metal, I gotta find some wood to cut out the handle of the bottle opener. I have gotten some really nice looking wood, but okay, now I gotta find a leather purse to cut out the strap. Get some Dalton videos probably. See you here in a couple minutes. All right, I got the plate, the bed rail, and then the purse. But I found this brown leather right when I was leaving. So I'm gonna use the brown leather for the strap, and then we're gonna cut this up. You've already seen this. I can't believe you're still here. So I didn't know anyone watched this far in my videos. But let's go over here. I'm gonna tell you the 10 things that I learned. Okay, so I made a lot of these things. Oh my gosh. I made a lot of these things. I made a lot of mistakes. I'm gonna talk to you about the thickness of the wood. I'm gonna talk to you about prototyping stuff. I'm gonna talk to you about countersinking. I'm gonna talk to you about laser versus CNC. We're gonna talk about it all, but I'm gonna be really fast because no one wants to listen to me talk. So the first thing that we're gonna talk about is 10 lessons here. I got them all right here. I got a little overhead camera here so I can show you what's going on, but you may or may not do that, but I'm gonna give you some advice. So if you make bottle openers, you wanna sell them, you can sell them a little bit easier than I made them. So this is a lot here, but let's do it because you're gonna learn a lot here. So pilot holes. You're going to want to drill pilot holes. This is a prototype. It went in crooked. So if you buy these little kits, stainless steel kits, they come with a countersinking kit. This particular kit which I'll link down below, came with a little countersinking bit. I have one here. So what you want to do is you want to line it up here where it goes. You can do that, and then you come back, and then you can do your drilling of the actual straight up and down. So now we're talking about the thickness of the metal. Even if you get a used plate, make sure all metal is not made equally. Make sure that you check your thickness or gauge metal. It needs to be pretty thick. And the way that you're going to figure that out is you're going to lift the metal. It better be heavy or it's not going to work, especially for something utility like a bottle opener. Now, the next thing is take a big magnet to the garage sale or the place. So make sure you don't do aluminum. Aluminum is extremely soft, and a lot of platters are very thin and cheap platters. Take a magnet. You're going to want steel, even if maybe even more likely stainless steel. So whether or not you made this out of a bandsaw or if you're making it out of a jigsaw, you're going to want to have thick metal. So take your magnet. Another thing is the thickness of the wood. Just because you can get free wood or cheap wood doesn't mean that it's going to feel good in your hand. It's a big operation to cut this thing in half. So even though that I like this wood, it's just a little too thick. I'm still going to give this away and etch it and stuff like that. But this was my favorite, and this was 5/8 of an inch. This was 1 inch, and it felt pretty good. But like Goldilocks, no. 5/8 of an inch was the best, even though that I got free wood. This is poplar from another bedpost. The next thing is, this is one that I cut out of a laser cutter. I'm going to talk about that at the very end for a bonus one. The next thing is the grain of the wood. Now, the grain of the wood is just simple woodworking thing. It needs to go up and down the long part, in my opinion. Now, if you feel differently, let me know, but to me, it makes it a very beautiful piece if it goes up and down the, I'm going to put this in here like this. Yeah, well, that's all crooked. That's all crooked. So anyways, the next thing is the production holes. Why do you think these holes are here? This one here is for a strap. I made a bunch of these leather straps, right? So I can put this in here and I can end up making it at the bottom. The guy that was in the video, his name is Ben. He actually is in the military, so a one that has the American flag and etched inside of it. And so these holes were actually made for production. They weren't made for utility. So when this operation is done, I go ahead and put a screw in here and a screw in here on my CNC, and then it'll fix up the edge. So as you're designing, think about production. Like, how are you actually going to make this? Okay. Now the leather thickness. When you're getting leather, whether or not you use a purse or you're not, or scrap leather, think about the thickness. Thin leather feels thin and cheap. Purses are cheap, thin leather. They make them feel thick by adding a liner, but the leather is very, very thin. I'm sure they probably stretch it out. So buying scrap material at a scrap place is better. The other option is buy a used leather coat at Goodwill. Once you find the proper metal, you're going to want to countersink that metal. So even though you have this nice little hole that was done on my plasma table or water jet, or just go ahead and drill that hole, even if you drilled it, you're going to want to countersink it, which means just take a bit so that the actual screw is going to, the countersink screw flathead is going to be right in it. I went ahead and bought a bag of these little stainless steel screws, which I'll link down below. Number 9 is the knife test. So a lot of times the material that you're going to use found is actually hidden behind paint. You're going to want to take a small knife. Now this is a little controversial, bringing a knife into a place like Goodwill, but you're going to have something that you can check to see what that grain is. This was an unbelievable surprise. I believe this is walnut. It may be cherry, but I think it's a walnut or a Brazilian walnut. I don't know. I'm making that up. If you know what that is, put that in the comments down below. This is my biggest one. Made it from start to scratch. The whole thing. Designed the arcs, designed everything else. I designed the metal, I designed everything else. Even if you did something simpler and you whittled a piece of wood, it felt amazing to be completely in control. The reason why I like this so much is I did everything myself. So yeah, I got the plans. You can use the plans, but I'll tell you, if you designed it yourself and you came up with a different shape, I think you would be really happy. That's it, people. Thanks. Whatever you do, make something that connects someone. And by the way, I didn't say at this beginning, I'm hacking things my whole life. Peace out.